Hello. Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, guys. It's so good to see you all. Laura, good. I'm glad it's working. Hey, Jordan. You're not Laura Vandervart. What's up, everyone? Good to see you all. Good to see you all. I'm excited about today's mastermind. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and in fact, a lot of people in this room I think are really passionate about. I'm excited to hear from Jared, who's on this call, and talk about some of these things. And right now, I'm just admitting everybody to the call. Cool beans. All right. Who wants to help me out and admit people into the room? Okay. All right. I hear you. Cool. All right. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Nicole Ward, and I decided to put together these masterminds just as a way for us in Real of Ohio to collaborate, connect, get together, and chat. And I also wanted this to be an opportunity, if this is a regular thing, which I'm hoping it is, um, for us to bring in some guests. If you are trying to bring some people over to Real and you kind of want to show them what our culture is like, this is a great place to do it. Obviously, state of Ohio meetings might be a little bit more specific, and you may not always want to bring a guest into a state meeting, but a mastermind would be a good place to do it. Kate, I am making you the host. There you
Sounds good.
go. Cool. Thanks.
I don't know why my video is not working, but I'm here.
Okay. All right, cool. Last week we spent some time just talking about best practices, and the first week of every month, that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be, that's the theme, but we're going to talk about different things for best practices on the first week. The second week of the month, and this is our first time doing it, is going to be all things marketing. So we may talk about video marketing, we may talk about social media marketing, but I thought for today's call, we could talk a bit about personal branding and why that's so important and some of the things that each of us do for personal branding and what that means and how it grows. So let's just get started. I actually wanted to I'm hoping for participation. I want to say that too. I'm hoping that this is 100% a participation thing. I'm not here to like jabber the whole time, so I'd love for other people to jump in. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation about personal brand. Um, Jared, good to see you. I love your background.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, if there's anything that speaks personal brand, it's that background you got right there. Tell us about your personal brand.
So I have a team called Frontline Legacy Group, and we're entirely made up of first responders. And we came from Epic. We were Ohio Select Group with them, and we just decided just to run with our profession. And it's probably been the best decision I've ever made. It's definitely made things easier for listing appointments and conversations with potential clients. As far as, before we used to have to sell ourselves on like our digital marketing, but um, everybody can relate to first responders and healthcare workers. So it's something I wish we would have done a long time ago. And if you look at, depending on which platform you follow me on it, I have the same branding all the way across. All my team members have the exact same banner, just with their photo. Everything's branded to them, so it kind of looks like all their stuff as well.
Okay. I mean, that's so basically what you're saying is you have consistency across everything that you do. So like
Yeah, it
your
doesn't matter
brand.
which you look on, who you're looking at. If it's Dane or Tim Wagner, they all have the exact same graphic. So I make the same post for everybody every Sunday. I'll dump in our team page content for the entire week, so everybody can just kind of pick what they want to post. And whenever somebody gets a listing, doesn't matter who it is or under contract, I make a just sold or under contract post for everybody on the team, so they can post it so it looks like it's their listing or their volume that they're getting. That way, just the general public, because a lot of us don't have the same followers or the same friend group. It looks like they're just killing it in real estate, and they look like they're the experts, so they get a lot of calls off of that.
That's actually really good idea. So you're saying that once anybody on the team has a listing, you create a graphic with them in it to promote that listing so that each person on the team shows that they have that listing.
Correct. And if you want, I can show you just kind of how, I don't know if you can share, if I can share my screen here.
Kate,
But
can
I
you
can show
allow
you.
share screen?
Let's see here. All right, send in a request.
There you go.
Should be good, Jared.
Okay. So doesn't matter whose listing is this particular one. It was actually Wagner's here. And I make a post for everybody with their graphics and their contact info.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Do
Come
you
up
do
with the
any
caption
sort of
for.
like call to action with the post, like for more?
Yeah, so it actually what it will do, and I don't want to hijack your meeting here, but I'm just
No,
gonna
we're all here to learn. Let's hear about it.
so I use our we all have Lofty. What I did is I built a custom team page. So any of our call to action clicks will dump them right into here.
Mhm.
Um, and then what I'll do, rather than have everybody have to buy their own Lofty account, I'll just send it to that agent, kind of like a round robin, or if they're in that area, because we kind of cover everything. But I have stories for them to use. A lot of the stuff we post, I'll go through ChatGPT and I'll search for that area, like, hey, what's the most common question by first-time home buyers, or what are some struggles right now that you're seeing in the market? And I'll make a graphic off after that or off of that, and make a caption answering that question. That way, we're providing value because even though people aren't liking it or sharing it, it's kind of like YouTube. They'll go back and refer to it. Funny thing, if I can find it here, Dane on my team is on a listing appointment for a 9 property rental just from this one post that somebody says, should you list your property? Oh, yeah, right here, this one right here. So you got 9 rental properties that he's going to be listing. He's on the appointment right now for just from this post.
That's pretty awesome. I love the consistency across your branding. I
Oh
mean, you
yeah,
have
yeah.
that like United States map with the colors on it, and like everything that you're doing is all the same color. So do you use Canva
I
for
use
your brand?
Canva for pretty much everything. Canva and I'll use Adobe products, ChatGPT. Let me see if we, because I have our branding guide also for everybody if they wanted to make their own stuff here. That way it's consistent. They all have the logo if they want to make their own stuff.
That's
But
awesome.
it's just I don't I don't try and be salesy or anything. I'll just find a question that I wish I knew or that is the most searched one and I'll answer it for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And then,
awesome.
then for our open houses, we don't do sign-in sheets. What we have is a QR code that they scan, and we tell them that as soon as you sign or fill that out, you'll instantly get the neighborhood graphics or report for that development, the different school districts, how they rank, our flyer, and then we have a buyer's guide that we send also in that. So as they're walking through the house, it's timed out that they'll instantly start getting these digital PDFs that they can read as they're touring the property.
So does it request their information up front then, and then once they give you their information, then they get all of this material?
Correct.
So
And a lot, I don't know if you ran into this problem. I can't tell you how many times I got John Smith to call after an open house and stuff. So this was kind of something we tried that we built in Lofty. And as soon as it just automatically just starts a drip funnel for them. And then that agent, it'll send their email, signature with the agent on the open house. And then I'll put them in a drip campaign and they'll follow up with them. So Dane also got a listing off of that from his last open house he did for the K-Hub.
that's pretty awesome. Would you mind, because obviously we don't want to dive down the rabbit hole right now, but one of the things that I love to do for the agents here, if you guys haven't seen, I've put out some training videos about doing your transactions in Reason. There's a lot more to come with training videos. Would you mind putting together, do you have Loom by any chance?
I do.
Okay. Would you mind putting together a video privately for our real agents, breaking down how you create those guides, how you do the QR code in Lofty and all that? Like do just a random property and how to set that all up so that agents could easily follow something like that and do it for themselves?
Yeah, I mean, as long as they have Lofty, I mean, I would if you take anything from this, I would spend the money on Lofty and get that for your CRM because it has so many different tools that you can use and it encompasses everything together. So I can link my social media stuff to it. whenever somebody clicks on that, I can automatically add them to a campaign. I built the entire website we have from Lofty. And same thing with the open house now, being able to do those digital flyers, just the QR code is huge.
Yeah. Well, if
And I
you
think
have
it's like, what is it,
time.
like $29 a month or something like that? It's not even expensive.
No, I think a team platform starts at 400 and then yeah, it's $40 a month for an individual agent to have Lofty. The problem is a lot of agents I don't think get started with Lofty because it's a beast to figure out. And if you don't have the skill set, you're like, well, geez, you know what I do. But maybe we can do some more masterminds around just CRMs and stuff.
Yeah,
And
and there's ways around that team thing also because I just have the $40 one and I just built sub pages for each agent. So
Mhm.
it'll automatically, if they're holding open house, it'll send it to them rather than just like I don't have to micromanage, be like, okay, this goes here, this goes there. So you can
That's
pretty
good.
automate it as much as you want. Like you said, though, it just takes some time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. That's a lot of personal branding stuff. We on our team, same thing. We use Canva. We have a brand guide that has all of our hex numbers for our colors of all of our fonts, all of our logos and banners. And I think that's really important when it comes to your business brand, and sharing all of that material. I think that the one thing that is looked past quite a bit is the personal side of that brand. So, like, how you represent yourself on a day-to-day basis to the public. Like, are you waving your realtor hat enough? You know, you've got the brand, you've got the business brand, you stick with that and you stay consistent with it. But, like, do people know on the personal side that you're a real estate agent, you do it every day and you love what you do? You know, does anybody have anything to say on that part of it? I'm gonna start calling on someone because I'm not gonna talk the whole time.
Okay, I'll say something.
Go for it.
I wish Aaron was on this call because Aaron's really good at this. Aaron and Kate, I've noticed, they are always incorporating
I am
their
on here.
real.
Oh,
Oh,
Aaron's there.
hello. Well,
I'm
then,
just
then I'm going to
I,
mute myself.
I'm just dark because I'm stuffing my face with food.
Well, then I'm going to shut up, and when you're done eating, you can just chime in. So I've noticed a lot, especially with Aaron. He has the funniest posts where he's always including himself doing stuff, but kind of puts a spin of real estate onto it, like with his children. I think there was one he just posted about them being on like a sled or something, and the kids were buyers and he was the real something like that. But it was really, really fun to see. He is just very witty. Nicole Ward also does the exact same thing, and I so appreciate your posts. And that's something that I'm not quick-witted that way to like think about stuff like that. So I'm always in the dark when I'm trying to figure out how am I going to incorporate real estate. Like it was easy for the Super Bowl. I was able to put up, the housing stats of, Kansas City versus Philadelphia and put that up on my story on Facebook. And that was really easy to do where I wasn't being salesy. I just wanted people to see the actual stats of Philadelphia and Kansas City. But it still put that little bit of real estate in there too, knowing that, I'm an agent, but not being salesy about it.
For
Um,
sure.
but but
Well,
I need
I
to
have
do
some
that more.
advice for you too, Carlan, if you don't mind. Is
Sure.
those pictures that Aaron posts, I don't do the exact same thing that Aaron does. And if y'all don't follow Aaron, this is all stuff he does on his stories. So he doesn't even like post it to his page, it's his stories, and he's got one up every day. So his name's Aaron Port, Port. Follow him on Instagram and Facebook, and you can see what she's talking about because it's really, really good for personal branding. And I would say, when Aaron joined the team, and you'll have to jump in here, Aaron, I think you had closed 7 deals the year previously. And then when you joined the team, you closed 25. And it had a lot to do with your branding and your use of social media and keeping up with your clients. Am I right? He's frozen. There he
Yep,
is.
you're right. Yeah, I closed 7 deals on my own, and then this last year, yeah, it was like 20 something. Yeah, honestly, it's like I just listened to Nicole. She told me what to do, and so I started doing it, put my own spin on it, right? But it's just, my kids are cute. Most people's kids are pretty cute, so it's like I just chose, and I know some people don't like posting their kids on social media, and that's fine. I'm very careful about the pictures that I do choose. I never post shirtless pictures of them, all that stuff. But like, I use those pictures. I mean, my grandma passed away this past year, and I was in the receiving line at her funeral, and I'm like, I'm not making this up. Like, I had probably 15 people at least tell me how much they enjoy watching my stories, and I'm like, people I haven't seen in 20 years were coming up to me at my grandma's dang funeral telling me how much they enjoy my stories. And so that means that all those people that I had no idea were out there are watching my stuff, knowing that I'm in real estate. And, that has paid dividends. I mean, that's everyone's goal, right? To stay top of mind, to be the first one that people think of when they think real estate. So that's been helpful to me. And a long time ago, I watched a video that Gary Vee put out. If any of you follow his stuff, I don't really follow him, but it was just one clip of a thing, and it was like, you need to always have a story on your pages, because that's what people see and that's what people watch, and people will always consume that. And if you always have a story, your audience will always be seeing you. So that's just something I've kept in the back of my head.
That's awesome. And for those of you that are like, I'm just going to expand on what you do a little bit because I think it's really important. Social media is such a beast for a lot of people too. Like it's hard to stay consistent with posting every day, and then you're like, what do I post? And the last thing you want to do is just be a salesperson on social media all the time, because people are just going to ignore you and they're going to get tired of the salesiness. So being really authentic is key to your brand, your personal brand on social media. And so like Aaron will post a picture of his kid sledding, like Carl Ann said, with a face going like this, or like something like that. And it's just a random picture he took of his kid, and he'll caption it. And the caption will be, when your buyers find out that the home inspection went really well. And it's his kid going like this. Like he'll and so it's all about real estate, but it's really authentic and really personal, and people love his stories. And so Carlan, if you want to do that and you're having trouble coming up with the captions, I'm going to take a leaf out of Jared's book here and say ChatGPT. So upload the picture and say, help me come up with a really cool, authentic caption for this picture that incorporates real estate passively. Because that's what you're doing. You're passively incorporating real estate. You're not
Ah,
saying, call me for your buyers and sellers needs. And ChatGPT will start giving you some options, and you can tell it, no, I don't like that one. Give me a new one. And it'll keep spitting out some options till you find one you like. But the more you do that, the more it will learn your style. And ChatGPT learns more about you, and it'll start giving you better and better captions until you can kind of come up with them on your own.
that's a great idea. I didn't realize that you could put pictures in it. I use ChatGPT, but I didn't realize you could incorporate and copy and put pictures into it.
Well, I have the $20 a month paid version. Does anybody have the free version of ChatGPT and have tried up? Okay, can you upload pictures to it?
It helps if I unmute myself. Not that I know of. I've never actually tried. I'll just describe the photo and have it write a kind of like a caption that's likely to go viral for it. And then I'll have it put my own spin on it.
Okay.
So it's all about the prompts, really. I mean, you can do a lot with the free version. That's what we use.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
What, Kate? You can. Okay. Caitlin's yelling at me from the other room. She said you can upload a photo to the free ChatGPT, and yeah, so you just drop the photo right in there and send it and say, help
Oh,
me come up with a caption.
awesome. Well, unfortunately, I don't have small children anymore, but I do have two cats that are right and a half. My one cat, he literally hugs and he has four thumbs, if that's any consolation. I think I could maybe put a spin off of
Well,
the
that's the thing about personal branding, Carlan, is like, and that's what we're here to talk about is like personal brand is very personal. Like Aaron's a family man, he's a dad first, and those are the most important things to him. So like he is branding himself as a dad and as a husband, and that's part of his brand, and that's the culture of the people that he speaks to. So for you, you don't have small children, but think about your clientele, like the people that you're going to be, your sphere, your friends, your family, what stage of life a lot of those people are in. And if for you, if it's talking about your cats, if it's talking about your husband or something that he's done that's funny, anything like that, that's going to be your personal brand. For me,
Gotcha.
my kids, I
Yeah.
also love Harry Potter. And
Yes.
funny enough, I have a whole Harry Potter bookshelf in here with all sorts of Harry Potter stuff. And I get people that I haven't talked to in years send me random Harry Potter, did you see this? Messages and stuff because I talk about that a lot. So just an idea. What else we got for personal branding? What's something that somebody does that we haven't talked about yet? Lindsay, go for it, my girl.
Hi guys. All right, pulling up my video here. So I just kind of wanted to add off to what Carlann was saying because so don't look at any of my social media accounts at all lately because I've been a major slacker with this. But social media is always has been the last 8 years that I've been a real estate agent. It's been my main form. It's where I get the majority of my leads in my sphere, my business from. And I always tell everyone that within the first 15 seconds of someone scrolling on your news feed, you know what I mean? They should be able to tell one that you're a real estate agent, but like Nicole said, almost in a passive way. They need to know what you're interested in, what your passions are, and you kind of need to be able to see that so you have a very well-rounded like what you're posting every day. So like Nicole was talking about Harry Potter. I had another agent who was obsessed with the Swedish fish, and people knew that. So like people would literally like she would literally I don't even know this was so long ago, but she would make posts about Swedish fish, and she would literally have clients buy her Swedish fish, as like a thank you for like being my real estate agent, kind of thing. I love the mountains, and every single person who follows me on social media knows that I am obsessed with the mountains and that Colorado is my happy place. And so you can find ways, and what this is doing though is by not just using your personal brand, like what Aaron does with his kids memes and stuff is absolutely hysterical, and it's awesome because he's tying both real estate and his number one passion, which are his kids, together into one post. But you don't have to tie that. You don't have to always have real estate showing up in every single post and trying to figure out how to do it. You know what I mean? Because what you're doing with your personal brand, what Nicole's talking about, is you're attracting your tribe, right? So like people that love Swedish fish, people that also love Harry Potter, people that also love cats, you know what I mean? People also that have kids, people that also are adventurous and love mountains and stuff like that. Like those are the type of people that you're going to be attracting to your page and that are going to want to follow you. And again, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So that's kind of what you're doing is you're just building a trust with people that are just going to start following you and start referring you. And then, like I said, if you post, a picture of your cat, you know what I mean, with its extra thumb, and you ask a question like, has anyone ever seen this? Or, you know what I mean, where you can get some engagement going. A lot of people are going to start scrolling on your wall to see what else you've been up to. And that's when they're also going to see that you're a real estate agent as well. So it's kind of just organically kind of like snowballs from there.
I think it has a lot to do with authenticity
Mm-hmm.
because like people see commercials and get sales calls and buy this insurance and buy this product all the time. And I think a great way to cultivate a following is to be, there's a book, Lee Brown wrote it. It's called Outrageous Authenticity. And if you guys haven't read that book, I would definitely read. It's a short read. It's really, really good. Lee Brown, Leigh Brown, Brown. She is a real estate agent and broker and also in politics in the Carolinas, I think. But she wrote this book called Outrageous Authenticity, and it's all about like 100% being who you are all the time, and that's your brand, and how you'll grow your following by doing those things. But like Lindsay said too, making sure that people know you're a real estate agent, tying it all together. So has anyone read that book? No? It's a good book. Read it. Add it to your list. She actually does the Audible on it. She reads it herself for Audible. So if you're an Audible person, you can listen to it there too. Cool. What else? We're talking about personal branding. Laura, you've got a cat with thumbs too. I love it. Talk about that. Something actually that came to my mind, over the years, I like to like take stock in what I've done and what works and what doesn't work. And I've noticed that the most interaction I get with either posts or emails comes from two different perspectives. The first perspective is comedy. If you post something that's funny, that's going to get a laugh out of somebody, you're going to get a lot more interaction with it. It just, people love to laugh. They love to be happy. So that's the first thing. The second thing is drama, right? So obviously you don't want to post negative drama, but there is a such thing as positive drama. And one of the things that my following tends to like is when I post things about my husband. Because I don't talk about my husband a lot, but people know me and they know Dan. And so I'll post like, you know, Ward family debate number 264. Which way does the toilet paper go? Front or back? And then I'll be like, I need you guys to help me solve this debate. And I get like hundreds of comments on stuff like that because they're either going to the left or they're going to the right. And caveat, I win every single one. So I love it because I get to shove it in Dan's face and say, I win, I win. But people like that kind of drama too. So it doesn't have to be negative drama. It could be like, you know, a fun way of doing something. But drama and comedy get people going on social media, asking a controversial question. And when I say that, in my opinion, everybody does this differently, and I'm talking about authenticity with a caveat. I don't talk about politics or religion on social media at all. I know some of you do, and more power to you. It's just not what I do. So you can post a controversial question that doesn't have to do with politics or religion and still garner some interest and some engagement. So that's my opinion. What else you guys got? Who can I call on here that hasn't? For us, I know you talk about politics and religion all the time. Tell us about your personal brand of
Why you gotta put me on Front Street right like that? Why you gotta put me on?
because I
See,
know
listen,
you and you don't care. Go for it. What do you do?
politics and religion got to do with everything we got going on right now. Okay. And so you have to put your opinion matter. So you have to be out there. So here's the deal. For me, on a personal brand, okay, we're in Cincinnati, Ohio, and my emoji, I just put it on
I
in the
saw.
chat.
I love
It's
it.
on every bus. It's on every beer truck, and it's gonna be on every Uber or Lyft car. It's a sticker in the back. And here's the deal. Just so you know, I'm in the beer business, so I get people drunk. Okay. So if you come to my place of business, which is I'm not there, but you see a billboard like around the fence, none but my pictures on it. Like any beer, it go with real estate. So they know
Uh-oh, we're losing you for us.
the car name thing. I mean, it's stupid shit, but it's funny. And actually, it stick in your mind all the time. Like this emoji with every color suits, I have that
That's
with
awesome.
some stupid stuff. Besides, we do the reels, me and Nicole, and we do lunch and learn every quarter. And I mean, it's a lot of stuff. I'm always talking real estate, always talking politics, always talking religion, and always talking shit. So that's me.
Yeah, I like
Enough.
it though. That's part of your personal brand though, to be clear to everybody on this call. Like you are 100% authentic and you're gonna, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. So you're gonna get business from what you put out there in the world. And that's exactly what you're doing.
And here's the thing for me, if you're trying to, you know, get people sympathize with you to get business, I call you out on that shit.
Well, the good news is I don't see that very often. I'm sure we do in like the Facebook groups. What's it like? Real Estate Mastermind and those Facebook groups. I just avoid those now because they get on my nerves.
I'd like to add something too.
Right.
I don't know why my video is not working. I've got tried to get it to work this entire time and it's just not hanging out. So, I think that all of this boils down to, you know, what Jared said, what Lindsay said, what Aaron's doing on a consistent basis is, and what even Foster said, it's all consistency and it's, you know, the same bottom line. It's the same branding. People know what to expect from you every single time. And for me personally, like 2025, I determined this is the year of being genuine. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything, and that's what people can expect from me, and they've always expected from me that I'm just always going to be real with them. I'm going to level with them, and that plays through all of my branding, all of my posting. I like to bring in a little bit of humor, a little bit of sass, but at the end of the day, it's all about consistency. So if your people feel like you're all over the place and you're trying a lot of different things, and it's never the same, or it's hard to understand or hard to relate, they're just going to turn you off. And it's the same thing as being salesy. So I just
Agree.
wanted to add that because I feel like that's super important to all of this, especially when it comes to marketing.
When it comes to personal brand, when it comes to any branding, when it comes to any marketing, consistency is the number one most important thing that you could do. I agree. Absolutely. Matt Mitchell, your camera's following you around. That happened to Caitlin last week. Yeah, there he is. Every time you move, your camera follows you around the room. How are you, buddy? You're trying to unmute right now, huh?
I am trying to unmute. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah, so I'm good. This is my first time being on one of these meetings. I have an association meeting, a local association meeting that I have to run, and today's went way over. So I wasn't able to jump on here till about 10:20. So I probably missed some good stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, mostly here to learn because I'm far from an expert when it comes to personal branding. So I know what I need to do with social media, but I don't necessarily know how to get there. At least not with any consistency. So
Understandable. I think that's probably the hurdle for most.
yeah.
If, when we get on the death scroll of TikTok or Instagram
Hmm.
or Facebook and we just scroll, 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 and then we're like, I should do this too. And then you go, okay, well, where do I start?
Yeah.
And you can't just jump in and be the influencer that has 60,000 likes on their most recent video. It just doesn't work that way. It takes time to build something up. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, and again, I'm not sure what I missed. I know I definitely agree with that point of being genuine. My goal with social media is to be genuine and post with intention. Um, so I've gotten to the point where um, I no longer just randomly share things on Facebook that I think are funny or whatever. I every time I post now, I have to think before I post. I'm like, how is this gonna affect my image as a business owner, right? Um, is the humor questionable or whatever, right? So, but at the same time, I also don't want everything that I post to feel like a sales pitch. So I feel like we have to kind of walk that line.
absolutely. Agreed. Trent, you're wearing a real jacket again, and I love it. And that has a lot to do with branding yourself every day.
Yep.
You wear a lot of swag when you go out.
I gotta buy some new stuff, obviously, but yeah, I try to get more. I figure if you're going out, it's just a billboard instead of wearing like Travis Matthew or whatever kids wear these days. You might as well just wear your own clothing. I
Yeah,
mean, it's gonna wear something. So I try to wear something that people ask questions about or has real estate on it, just because. Why not?
yeah, absolutely. I'll stand up and show y'all. Can you see?
Yep.
Nice.
My whole team's got a bunch of these sweaters. I got the idea from Laura Vandervart. She got some for her team too. So, and she's in the same town as me. So, and she runs a team too. So we're always walking around town wearing our work hard, be kind shirts. There's a lot to do with brand.
Mhm.
I love it. What do you do for your personal branding, Trent?
I don't know. That's when I was like working with agents and stuff, I was just kind of like really direct with them. That doesn't obviously correlate with consumers. So done some video like YouTube stuff, which is kind of cool, but it works, but for me, there's not a direct like immediate impact. So the social media stuff, like everyone else, you know, you got to do it. You'll have your own sphere to connect with, but
Mhm.
it's the lack of like immediate impact that kind of like pushes me away from it when I go call or do whatever, go show homes. Taking time to do the video stuff, it's kind of like a little too much for me. So working on that, just local content stuff if I had to pick it for
I
this
think
year.
that's actually a really good point. And, this is the one thing that like is discouraging, I think, for a lot of people because when you're a cold caller, when you actively lead generate and convert, you're on the phone all the time, there is some more instant gratification involved with that because you're having conversations with people about real estate like immediately. And when it comes to branding and marketing, that's a long-term play. That's about building something like a slow burn, a slow fire, social media, billboards, newspaper ads, or not ads, but you know what I mean, like grocery cart
Hmm.
stuff where you see a realtor's picture on there. That's all like branding, but it takes a long time to build that. And it's the same thing with social media, is you're not really going to ever see the fruits of your labor. And this is the hardest part for those of you that are in the disc world, the SCs, and you don't have much DI, but you have an S and a C in your personality profile, is you can probably never relate a sale directly back to what you're doing on social media, but you can from cold calling. So it's hard to say, yes, all of the posting that I did the last year had something to do with this particular sale. And it may not seem like it, but it actually does. And it's kind of what Aaron was saying earlier is like his sales tripled and all these people are watching his stuff and he didn't even know was watching it. It's because it's a long-term play and he's doing it consistently. Pretty cool stuff, in my opinion. Dawn, what's up, girl? What do you do for your personal branding?
Hey there.
Hi.
How's it going?
Oh, you know.
So, I mean, we have a small team, Rustic Home Group, and it's just me and two other agents. One of them actually hasn't been selling recently because she can't post on social media. So, it's due to her current job. She works in a position where, they have limitations on what she does in connection to she could potentially get clients from it, and it's kind of frowned upon at the company. So it's interesting with that, like she wants to sell homes but yet she can't have the branding. So she's in the process of trying to maybe pursue a different position at that company so that she can get back into real estate. And then the other person on my team, I'd like to see him do more with his current line of work, incorporating that into selling homes. But he does get a lot of business because he's a active policeman. So, he does get a lot of business from that. But I don't know what it is. It's like they don't want to have branding on social media. So for me, it's like, you know, we're not big into social media because of those two reasons. But for me personally, I probably could be better at it. I could be better at promoting Rustic Home Group. Um, so I guess that's been like a struggle for me when it comes to other avenues, and they have limitations on what they can do.
Well,
So,
I think having limitations just because you can't be on social media should never stop somebody from growing their business. I mean, like Trent, he sells some real estate and he makes calls and he's not really on social media. I think there's ways or like there isn't just one way to be successful in when it comes to like for them, like, I don't think that they have to put out their personal brand and have it be smattered all over social media.
mhm. But
But
no, for me, I'm very careful at what I post because, like everybody else is saying, you want it to be purposeful. A lot of my following has come from people that know my history and know that I went through breast cancer. So I talk to a lot of people in social media regarding their scenario, their situation, and maybe their experience or have gone through breast cancer. And I think that's been a good way for me to connect with people. is kind of saying, okay, now that I'm a survivor, what can I do to get messages out to people? Because you know, a lot of people just struggle with going to get their mammograms. You know, other people struggle with, you know, maybe insurance and what they're covering. And that was something recently that I just found out about. Like, you know, because I have to have certain types of mammograms now that I've gone through like the whole reconstruction and everything, you know, there's tips that I share when it comes to what you can do as a survivor. So, you know, those are some big things that I think bring, you know, that organic conversation with people.
And you know what? It doesn't have to be like organic posting. It could also be direct messaging to people. Like you don't have to plaster your stuff on social media. You can also like have one-on-one conversations with people and still brand yourself within those conversations and make it authentic. Like Lindsay, jump in and tell us about your ten video messages per day on Facebook.
Yeah, so let me turn my video back on here. Sorry guys, I keep turning it off because yeah, so something that's really, really easy that we implement on my team, and Jared can even speak to this too, because we always talked about it back when he was on my team when we were with EXP. But we do 10 video text messages a day. And we do it, I always do it through Facebook because it's easiest for them to click on your profile. So what I do is I'll go into my private messages and I'll send 10 people that I usually come up with a list the night before, because otherwise you're going to spend like 15, 20 minutes the morning of trying to figure out who to send a text message to. But I go through like who has birthdays the next day, you know what I mean? I'll make notes in my phone on who has an anniversary coming up, or if I know that someone's going on vacation, I'll make a reminder in my phone to follow up with them when they get back to see how it was. And all I do is I just literally, hey Nicole, it's Lindsay. I haven't talked to you in a while. Girl, I know you just got back from, you know, Siesta Keys. Would love to plan, you know, a trip there with my family later this year. Like, where did you guys stay? Like, give me all your tips. Literally, that's all I'll say. Or I'll just say, hey girl, haven't talked to you in a while. Was thinking about you today. Saw one of your kids was sick. Hope they're feeling better. You know, you want to grab coffee soon. Something just literally that takes me 3 seconds to do a quick video on. Send it to them via Facebook Messenger, and they'll watch it, and then a lot of times what they're going to do is they'll actually respond back to you with another video text, which is actually pretty cool. And a lot of times they'll be like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool, like, you know, or especially for birthday texts, they're getting birthday stuff on their wall, notifications galore, but when they go in their messages and they see that they have a personal video text from you, that's going to make you stand out against everyone else that is wishing them happy birthday today. But what the goal of it for me is obviously to reconnect with that person. And I don't even mention real estate, but when they go to click on it, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I haven't talked to her in a while. So they'll click on my profile and they'll start scrolling on my profile. And that's where I make sure that on my profile, you obviously can tell that I'm also a real estate agent. And a lot of times organically, that'll come up in conversation later on with them. So it's been one of probably the best organic, natural, most you know, down to earth ways to reconnect with people, where people don't feel like you're selling them anything.
Absolutely. I love it. And that has a lot to do with authenticity and personal brand, as you're just pushing yourself out there. Your brand, I think brand gets confused with big name and billboards instead of that like personal touch of what you're putting on, the message that you're sending to your people.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
and
that
again, people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. The only way that they're going to know, like, and trust you is by connecting with you on a personal level on social media. And that's probably one of the best ways, honestly, to connect with people is on social media, because you can have such a vast audience. You know what I mean? So you can put something out that's important to you, like Dawn was talking about, you know, something that's near and true to her
yeah,
heart or something that she's learned. And some people might keep scrolling by. They don't care. You know what I mean? But you're going to attract the attention of those that do care and that can relate to whatever it is that you're saying in that post or whatever you're trying to relay. And that's going to make an impact on the people that you're wanting to make an impact on.
100%. And it's great. Like what Dawn is doing is she's taking something that's a really personal journey for her and then connecting with other people on it. And either because they've had that same personal journey or they know someone that is. And that's, again, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So I love it. Autumn, we only have a couple minutes left. What do you do for your personal brand?
It's consistency, but it's just being authentic. I'm not a fan of social media. I do it, I hate it. But it's more, I think coming from my previous company where I was there for almost 10 years and I was worried that, losing that brand would be a big deal, but I realized that it's me that they're hiring, not the company. Half of them didn't even know who I worked for.
Right.
But I do, it's kind of like Lindsay, where I reach out to my clients, if I'm thinking about, if they pop in my head, I text them, hey, how's it going? I was thinking about you. Making sure you celebrate those big, birthdays, anniversaries with them. I do a lot of thank yous, even for little things. But that's my brand, just being myself and trying to just put myself out there. I do a lot of lunches with my clients and just catching up, just not trying to be salesy. And I feel like that's why they keep coming back, because a lot of us become friends with those clients afterward. But just consistency and just reaching out.
Love it. Love it. Very authentic. That seems to be a common theme today, guys. Authenticity, being yourself. Go for it, Laura. You're muted. You're trying to unmute.
There we go. There we go. I was trying hard. One thing that I noticed are my most popular videos are the ones where you're most vulnerable. It's horrible. It is horrible. You're like, are people gonna think I'm an idiot? Are they gonna, you know what I mean? And I like to joke around and I like to laugh and all that kind of stuff. And I I noticed that, like I said, when I'm vulnerable and I just say, this happened today, what the heck, is when people are like, oh my goodness. And in 2 months, they're calling me to sell something. They know 5 people that want to buy a house, anything like that. And it could be from, we've all done it. Well, hopefully we've all done it because I've done it twice where I've opened the lockbox and the key has dropped and fell right in the crack, or it's gone like under the deck or whatever that's happened to me. And I shared that and how I got the key out with my client as both of us were like on the ground trying to get it out. And that like blew up. I love to walk. So today I'll do another video when I go for a walk because I'll walk in just a little bit. And I noticed that gets a lot of people like chatting, just your normal everyday things. And people, I'll pass people that I haven't seen in forever at church or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, hey, oh, you go to blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It triggers things in people's minds, whether it's like you mentioned earlier, sledding with your kids, it triggers things in them. They'll be like, oh, that was the funniest thing when the duck attacked your dog while you were going for a walk. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. It triggers things in people and then they don't forget you because
Right.
this is a business that you don't want people to forget you. And you want to be like, I'm a realtor. I'm a realtor. You know what I mean? Without being like, buy a house, buy it
Right.
today. You know
Right.
what I mean? All the time. But that's just my personal opinion is people like to see that you're a real person. You don't always have to post the glitz and the glam. And a lot of times when I do close on a house is when I'll share, and I know a lot of you do this too, is when I'll share what the bumps and bruises were. Like we had this under contract 3 times. I sold this house 3 times. You know what I mean? Like whatever the case is. But I think that there's always room to share, even if it's that your cat has thumbs, because now we have a connecting point. My cat has thumbs.
Right.
She can write a check,
Funny.
whatever.
Kate Herb, her video's on, but it's not on. She started doing something that I thought was really cool, and she does a case study on her closings. It's really, really cool stuff. You should follow her on social media and see what one of her last ones was. But she'll do like who, what, when, where, why, how, and just kind of go over like the backstory and the actual like we've been talking about, the story that people have. That's like what people want to hear. They don't want to see, oh, another one sold. They want to know the story behind it.
Mhm.
And so she'll post this case study and she'll do it in like multiple graphics so that on Instagram you have to slide through it and on Facebook you have to open it to read the graphics. which is really smart because it causes interaction. So when people read your story, you have to interact with the post, which in turn increases algorithm. So follow Kate Erb, KAITERB, Kate Erb on social if you want to see an example of one of her stories.
Thanks, Nicole. I would say the biggest thing with that is make sure you're getting the okay from your client that you're sharing that. Most of my clients, they're like, I could literally care less. Some of them are more private than others. So if there's, just kind of take that into consideration and just say, hey, I usually do a case study after we close. Do you mind me sharing, how many offers we wrote, how many houses we showed, what our strengths, what our, weaknesses were? That is super helpful and something that I learned on a call very much like this one a couple years ago was the concept of selflessly educating. Educating your target audience with no expectation in return, but just to share because people are going to be watching you. And I feel like that's something that was like the final push for me to start doing the case study. And I actually need to do it more. I'll do it like every couple deals, but it's something that from a buyer's perspective, from a seller's perspective, it's helpful to see, okay, she actually closed this deal, or oh, she actually didn't close this deal, and why did it fall apart? Um, it's just from the perspective of educating without any pressure. That's what people like to see. They feel like you're the knowledge broker when it comes to that kind of stuff, and they feel like they can trust you even in the first real conversation that they have with you because they've been following you and learning about what goes on in the market. So,
love it. I love it. We're gonna get ready to jump off, but there's one person who's been on this call with camera on that I haven't talked to or asked about yet, and you know it's coming. So Hannah, what do you do for personal branding? She's like, how dare you call me out? That's what I do. I make people put on their uncomfortable shoes.
Well, I actually felt really called out this whole meeting because um I like always worry that I'm being too salesy and I'm not very personable, but I am in real life. I talk way too much. And so I don't know. I actually took a lot of notes and I actually just posted a story because I utilize my kid a lot and I use that a lot for connecting with people. I have these Valentines that I'm like sending to my kid's school that I made.
Aw.
And I'm gonna put suckers on the back. I'm a sucker for referrals. So I don't know. I do personalize myself a lot and I have gotten and I'm in this bread era now. And I feel like recently, since I've been posting that, I've been getting tagged in a whole bunch of bread stuff and sourdough and focaccia and stuff like that. But since I got my license, I have said a ton that I was ready for my kid to like get involved in sports and get him, into school and stuff like that, just so I could like be more part of a community. And so I'm trying to utilize that a lot. I am on social media a lot, but I just took a ton of notes on like not being so salesy because I really feel like I am a lot. And I've talked about that a lot, but I didn't really know how to shift away from that with still advertising myself. So yeah, that's my answer.
Good stuff. I'm glad that this was a helpful mastermind for you. That was kind of the point. Love
Thank you.
it.
Thanks.
Cool, everyone. Well, I appreciate everyone's interaction today. Don't forget, every Tuesday at 10 a.m., the first 3 weeks are going to be themed, and we're going to dive in, to something like this, like personal branding. And then the last week of the month is going to be open forum. So just open topic. If somebody wants to bring something up and grab ideas from other people, maybe it's something real specific. We can talk about something that we do within Real Brokerage. We can talk about agent attraction. All of the different things. So next week is one more themed topic for this month, and then the last week will be open forum. I'll post about the theme soon. Thanks for joining in and invite your people. Have a good week, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
bye everyone.